Late nights in the city causing hell. Burn this bitch into the ground, oh well. For all we got tonight, let's do this right. Let's do this right. Let's go to paradise. This shit be like Friday nights. This shit made me feel alive. I feel like we in paradise. Paradise. Don't know if it's a drink I pour, but I swear I've never loved you more. With you right here, I come alive. One more hit and we can fly. This shit feel like
One year, 1 month, and a couple of days. Believe it or not, that's how long it's been since I was last in the motherland. Growing up in a city adorned with majestic skyscrapers, magnetic highways, and pretty much a lifestyle that embraces the future, it was an incredibly refreshing experience to just immerse myself in the enchanting natural beauty of Sri Lanka. And I'm dedicating this video to each and every one of you that has not experienced that yet in real life. Alright, so we're starting strong with one of my absolute favorite trips of the entire visit, and this was the time we went to Sri Lanka. It's one of the coldest places in Sri Lanka, but not the coldest because that would be Candy. We didn't go there this time, but I'm definitely planning to show you guys what that looks like as well the next time I go there. So for now, let's just enjoy the little bit of fun that we had visiting these places. By the way, all these things are not in order of when we visited them. It's just, edited in a way that is aesthetically pleasing and fun to watch. We went to this random grocery store, which is so cute. I loved visiting small little shops at the side of the road. We got some snacks, of course, because it was a pretty long way from where we started. And then we saw a bunch of trees and small little houses. It was very, very pretty, especially because of all the trees and the greenery. By the way, we were told that these trees were over 1,000 years old because these forests have not been touched or tainted by humans, and they're actually being protected by the government. I thought that was very nice and wholesome, but yeah, it was crazy to see so many trees. We had to make stops and really enjoy the extra oxygen. Let me tell you, the air was super crisp. I wish you guys were there to actually experience that firsthand. There were waterfalls, little streams, little waterways, and it was really amazing. By the way, we reached our destination. It was a private estate, and there was a little bit of a river which was private to that area, and only we were basically there. It was a good experience. It was a very relaxing, chill, nature-esque time that we spent there. It was also starting to get a little cloudy, and it was about to rain, which we were like, this is amazing. It's going to make the whole trip even better because rain always makes things better. I don't know if you can agree, but yeah, we saw this little dog, and he was actually the watchman's dog. He was super cute and sweet. I'm not sure how much he's able to protect the estate because he's such a bubbly dog. If they had like a Doberman or I don't know, like a Rottweiler, one of those big German Shepherd dogs, I would think that would make more sense because he would be able to, scare off trespassers and stuff. But no, he was such a bubbly little doggy. He was so fun though. He does his job really well. And yeah, the water was super cold. I was like trying to see how different the water is from UAE. And it was kind of different, which is weird to say because water is water. But I'm sure these rivers, they have so many more minerals. And I don't know, there was just something about this place that really drew me in. It was really refreshing. The water was super cold. And I told myself that I'm not gonna, get into the water. But I ended up doing it because obviously it was just irresistible. This is actually where all of the fun started because the tide was getting higher and the water was moving so much faster because apparently it was already raining on the other side of the area, and that means the water was just flowing in from the waterfalls into the river. I hope that makes sense. I hope I explained it well enough. That was my grandma trying to carefully climb down the rocks. She was basically the one taking care of all of our stuff and making sure we are not dying, although she wouldn't really be able to do anything about it. But she was the keeper of our stuff, which was cute. Now, as you're watching this, I'm sure some of you might be wondering what it actually feels like to be sitting in such fast-moving water, especially this kind because it is a river, and that day there was a very high current. And let me tell you, it is unlike anything else that I've experienced before, and please, if you get the chance, go experience this for yourself because it is the epitome of relaxation. I'm sure there's nothing that's more relaxing than sitting in a super fast-moving river. And the thing is, if you don't position yourself correctly in between the rocks, there is a chance that you will just go with the tide. Like, you will go with the current and it might be dangerous. Like, it could end someone's life. I'm not kidding. But it was such a nice experience. I would compare it to a jacuzzi. It's the closest I think we can get to it. But it is very far from it at the same time because when you're sitting in a jacuzzi, you can feel all of the water just going towards you with high pressure, of course. But in this case, it's all just moving in one direction, and that is why you could get caught up in the tide and just go hit your head at one of the rocks and be unalived. I'm sorry, it got kind of dark, I know, but I think I got my point across, which is what's important. Anyway, so after we've been in the water for a while, they called us outside for lunch. And if you know, you know, it is a universally accepted fact that food hits different when you've been swimming. And that's exactly how it was, like food slapped. So there was a buffet and we had a really nice Sri Lankan menu. We wanted it to be super traditional and authentic. They delivered. They cooked and they delivered. And let me tell you guys, like, the food was delicious. It was amazing because there was fruit and we just indulged and we were stuffed at that point. The day couldn't have been more perfect. I had to go back to the river to take some pictures. Anyway, coming back to how pretty this place is, I literally wanted to make a hut and live there. I know that I wouldn't survive because of the insects and, like, you know, the mosquitoes in the night. But there weren't any mosquitoes when we went. All jokes aside, I fell in love with the place and the water and the vibes and the air and the energy. Yeah, when we thought that things couldn't get any better, guess what happened? Okay, guess what happened? It started to rain. Is this even real life? Honestly, this makes me so nostalgic. I mean, they brought out tea and it was perfect because of the cold weather. Like, we felt so snug. I know it's been over a year, but I miss it and I wish I could go back, and I might actually go back to visit, especially now that the situation is better and I'm sure, like, there's more fuel left for people to use. Anyway, we were getting ready to head back. Hello, come here. This is me being super cinematic with the shots. My brother, he got all the good shots. You know why? Because I am a great videographer. No one can compare. But you know what's the biggest downside of being the best videographer / photographer in the group? It means that I won't get any of those aesthetically pleasing shots of me in the frame. You know why? Because no one can do it. No one got the skills, and I need to suffer the consequences of my greatness. That is just not it. I need someone in the group that I can train and just take with me. If anyone's interested, I will send out applications. Please sign up to be my travel friend or my assistant. It will not be paid because I don't have the money. But anyway, coming back to the fact that this is the most lush greenery that I have seen, like, in one place, and it was just too beautiful to explain. I don't think that there are enough English words in the English language for me to describe what was going on in my brain. Like the feelings were all over the place. I was happy to be there. I was sad that I'm not gonna be there forever. I was excited to see more. I don't know, it was an emotional roller coaster, and I enjoyed every second of it though, which is what matters. Also, look how aesthetically pleasing this red thing, I forgot what it was called, man. Oh my god, it's a tuk-tuk. It's called a tuk-tuk, or you can just call it a tuk. That's me trying to get a perfect traveler slash tourist shot clip for the vlog, and it turned out great, except for the fact that I looked so bad in this entire trip. I'm not gonna lie, like I looked not my best, but that's okay because I was living in the moment and I didn't care about how frizzy my hair was. I didn't care about what I was wearing, although I would have preferred to have looked nice for the vlog, but I don't know, thanks to the horrible humidity, I was not looking my nicest. We're gonna get past that, okay? Just focus on the video and not me, and then everyone will be happy and everything will be okay. So as you can see, there are mountains in the background and clouds. Like it was foggy, it was raining, the air was crisp as hell, and it was so nice to breathe it, honestly. Like I said, I have no words to describe like the serenity, the tranquility of this place. We made stops along the way, like so many times. So yeah, that's what happened on our trip to Sri Lanka, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Come on, it's only until you go see it for yourself, you know, for now, but one day I'm manifesting it for you. I'm sure you can go and you guys can go see this for yourself in person and thank me later, because nature is pretty beautiful. Like it's amazing. It's not every day that you get to see all these trees and mountains in the background. It is straight out of a Bob Ross painting. I am not kidding. That's all I can say. I hope it's clear. Like I hope you got the message. Hello everyone, it's a new day and that means we're back on the road exploring more of this beautiful island. But before I tell you guys what we were actually up to, let's just take a moment to appreciate the beautiful view. I mean, don't you feel like this came straight out of a Windows screensaver? When I tell you that all of the scenic places in Sri Lanka literally look AI generated, I am not lying. Because we were passing a bridge and just look at what we saw on the sides of it. I'm not sure if you're ready for this, but here we go. Chills. Literal chills. I mean, if that doesn't look unreal, I don't know what does. So we stopped at a grocery store for some snacks on the way, and I tried this vanilla flavored milk by the brand Anchor. This was my first time trying it, and my reaction says it all. I was just so happy about the rich creamy flavor, and it was exactly what I was looking for in that moment. It was so refreshing. 10 out of 10. One of my goals were to test as many snacks as possible when I go to Sri Lanka, like authentic Sri Lankan snacks, and this one definitely adds to the list. Actually, a lot of dairy in Sri Lanka tastes really good and different from like other stuff that I've tasted, and I think that's mainly because the cows in Sri Lanka are mostly farm grown or even home grown and grass fed. So I think that really contributes to the flavors because everything is so fresh. Okay, I think I got a little too distracted trying to appreciate the scenery, but I couldn't even tell you guys what we were up to that day. Basically, we were going from one part of the country to the other to meet some relatives. Here's us making a stop at another store because we wanted to get them something nice. Now, it's common practice in Sri Lanka to bring a small gift when you go into someone's house, whether it's family members, friends, or relatives. It's always a nice gesture to bring something like a box of chocolates or biscuits, essentially something small and meaningful. So after that was done, we were on our way back and we continued to see a couple of cool things. For example, here's a local feeding some stray dogs, wholesome, and then here is a really thick forest. Look at that. I mean, who knows what's in there? It's full of just trees. And then we stopped near a tree which had something called kos, and it can be cooked and also eaten as fruit. and the fruit version of it is called jackfruit. And then we visited, we kind of passed by this area which my mom remembered, and everyone was feeling nostalgic about it. And then we continued to head out, and then we saw a monkey, and he was living his best life eating some fruit of that cost. And then it was really nice to see all these wild animals in their natural habitat, like that is their home. We also passed by this beautiful statue. It belongs to the Buddhist people of Sri Lanka. It was in gold and I thought it looked really pretty. And then we finally reached the house. Now this was the start to one of the most chaotic weeks of our entire visit. That's because everyone was basically preparing for the wedding. Now the thing about this wedding is that we were invited so much time in advance, but back then we didn't have any plans of visiting Sri Lanka. When it finally happened, we really didn't think we would be able to visit because we were 0% prepared. However, the hosts were so sweet and really insisted that we came, so we had to make it happen somehow. That's why everyone was so chaotic and we just had to get everything done really quickly. And in the middle of that, I also had a YouTube sponsorship to film. That's me doing that. Then we also headed to get my brother some suits and also my cousin. And then we saw this thing on the street, and if you know, you know, there was a riot going in Sri Lanka due to the economic crisis, and it was so funny because people were like trashing on the president and just like doing all these random things. It was entertainment, but it was also kind of sad. But then this is the wedding day, and here we go. Wedding was hosted by one of my distant relatives. The bride and the groom, I've met them once before, and I think this was the second time I saw them in person. They were incredibly sweet and they were so happy to see us, and we were happy to be there because I really didn't think we'd be able to make it. We had to get our clothes last minute, get my brother's suit tailored last minute, but everything ended up coming together so well, which I really enjoyed. I mean, it was a really nice time because we had some pretty good food. It was authentic Sri Lankan cuisine, which I always love. Looking back at all these clips, I am still craving what we had that day because the food was so good that the only way I can explain it is by saying that it deserves an honorable mention and all the chefs deserve a standing ovation. And I hope you understand because the food was incredible. Even though we were stuffed to the brim, we actually, all of us, went in 4 seconds. At that point, we could barely walk, but there's always room for dessert. We had to go in, get some chocolate cake, get some pudding, get some, there was a lot of stuff and I don't even remember, but everything was so good. That's us enjoying our plates full of dessert, and yeah, after that we were done with food. There were more dances going on, and the best place to watch it was from the terrace. We did that, and after some time we went outside. Here we were just planning on what to do. We were taking pictures and trying to explore the area, and I'll show you guys in a second all the cool, really aesthetic shots that we got inside the hotel. As we were about to proceed with the plans, some of the adults came outside and wanted help with taking some pictures. We did that for them and then went back to what we were doing. By the way, this is the behind the scenes footage of that walk-in shot that you guys saw in the beginning of this video. And then we did some footage on the stairs, tried to be all aesthetic and stuff, but it didn't turn out the way I expected it to. Then we finally went outside to the pool area. The lighting was really nice here, and then we took some really aesthetic clips. right here next to the building which was built like a castle. I love the country, but one thing I could not handle about Sri Lanka was the extreme heat. Now you'd think that, oh, it's a tropical island, it's supposed to be cool and breezy, but it is the opposite. The humidity was insane, like I said a little bit earlier as well. I was literally drenched in my own sweat. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever. I remember so clearly at this point in the day, I was almost like dying, and I would have passed out from a heat stroke if it wasn't for like me moving around and feeling the breeze and trying to feel the breeze. And then we were taking some pictures, of course, even though literally everyone was super uncomfortable. And after that, we finally headed home. And yeah, so it was a beautiful day, and I'm so glad I got to visit, and thank you so much for the newly wedded couple for inviting us. Yeah, so my heartiest congratulations to them, and that was the end of the day. Something that you guys may or may not know about me is how much I value my relaxation time, especially if I've done something very energy consuming in the recent past. So I thought this was the perfect day to just wind down because it was raining and beautiful. But you know what we did? We went to another socializing event when my social battery was less than 50%. But they had a really nice outdoor live food station, and the food was also good and great. But the thing is, I could not record any more than this because I was dying. And you know what happened the next day? We went on another trip, and this time we had like a truck, and then everyone was singing at the back and enjoying their day and life, when I literally had to barf. So I went and sat in the front because I think the movement and the motion just like really messed with my head. Then I was sitting in the front with my uncle who was driving the truck, and also one of the grandmas in the group, which was his mom. And then they were like telling me about the mountains in that area, and how like recently there was like a huge disaster on the mountain, and a lot of people passed away, unfortunately. Yeah, so this was what the sides of the road looked like on our way to the destination. After some time, we were finally at the place that we were going to. The thing about Sri Lanka is that even though it is geographically smaller than UAE, it takes a relatively longer time to travel from one place to the other. Makes sense because especially for trips like this, we don't take the highway, and all of it is like curves and hills. So yeah, and then we went to this beautiful house. It was made of bricks, and then they got us juice, and it was really nice, and it tasted so good and fresh. Then with a bunch of people that were there, we headed to the river, and they were trying to show us around. And on the way, we saw mangoes. And you guys, we literally picked mangoes right from the tree and peeled it up and started like eating it. And then we went to the river, right? It was one of the saddest rivers I've seen in the entire trip because the water was so shallow and it didn't look as pretty as the other ones. Then we saw this really cute dog, and he and I became best friends instantly. Then we headed back to the house, and there was amazing food prepared thanks to the hosts. It was a good meal. And then we went outside to look at the mountains in the background. Wow, imagine waking up to that view every single day. Like, imagine like living in that house. So yeah, that was the end of that day. And now, moving forward to our dentist day. FYI, I'm currently on my bed making these voiceovers, and I'm getting so tired of speaking so much. I can't even imagine how you guys must be feeling. Like, are you tired of listening to me speak? If yes, please click off the video. Oh my god, that's so... Please don't click off the video. Keep watching, or at least let it play and just go do something else. That helps me. Yeah, so anyway, that was so cringe. Please. I went to this lottery stand, and I am doing these like scratch card stuff. Let me tell you, it was so fun. I ended up buying like 5 or 10 of them, and I think at one point I won some money, and I ended up just buying more tickets with that money. It was just nice. You can win big, win small, but mostly it's just small. And I don't know if it's like a scam. I really don't think so. They seem legit, and it's very like common in Sri Lanka to have these stands everywhere. And yeah, that was me like just enjoying my time scratching cards. We're basically waiting for a bus or a taxi, but apparently they don't have any today because of the crisis that's been going on. So I don't know, we're all just waiting. It's my mom and my brother. We're just waiting for something. Maybe we might go hitchhiking, I'm not really sure, but that is the issue with this. Hold up. Now you might be wondering, what in the world am I doing in a crowded bus, all sweaty and uncomfortable? Hi, I'm Hayley, and my life is kind of crazy at the moment. So basically, we were in Sri Lanka, and at the time there was an insane crisis going on. Count how many times I say that word, because that is kind of the theme of this entire video. Like how we kind of navigated even in the midst of such a horrible crisis. Basically, there was a shortage of petrol. Why? Because the country was losing all of its money, so they couldn't really import any of the gas or petrol. Essentially, what that meant for the general public is that most people could not do things as comfortably as they used to. For example, people couldn't travel across the country because there was no petrol. The entire country actually had power outages every once in a while when we were there. Some people couldn't even make food because they couldn't cook without any gas supply. And that was a horrible time, and people were going through so much. The worst part, I think, is how it's mostly the poorer people or the average person that was affected, because most of the people in higher positions would just have connections, and through them they would get the petrol they need, which meant that they didn't really feel the gravity of the situation, which is more than a reason for us to be more considerate towards the people that have no leverage or any connections. When I tell you that people were actually camping outside of petrol stations just so that they can take something back in case of an emergency. Imagine someone in the family fell sick and they had no petrol in their cars. That would be an extremely unfortunate situation, which is why we did our best to take public transport for short distances and for places that didn't really require us going in a car. At the end of the day, it might have not been the most comfortable ride, but it was fun. Plus, the people were so kind and nice. They offered us seats, and also it was like really bumpy and it felt like we were in a roller coaster, which I thought was very enjoyable. So yeah, I'm just glad that we did our part, whatever we could, whenever we could, to be more considerate of the general public. This also applies to us. Wherever you are, anywhere in the world, try to take public transport as much as possible. Try to reduce your carbon footprint, because it is more beneficial than anything else that you do towards sustainability.
Bro, you can't see anything. Why?
After the bumpy bus ride, we transferred into a tuk-tuk. It literally was walking distance, but since we didn't know where to go, this was the easiest way. We finally found the place and we met up with the dentist. He did his thing and it was all great and nice. After this session, we went to get some meds. Okay, I'm gonna go down. What you guys just saw was me directing my brother on how to hold the camera and which lens to use. I'm literally directing, producing, editing, modeling, and doing literally everything for my channel. So I hope you guys appreciate the work that's going on behind the scenes. I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah. So then we were famished, so we went to this little restaurant and had some food. We basically ate from this place and it was really nice. So if you want to come visit, then visit Food Bazaar in it's Edward Food Bazaar from Ayurvedic. Okay, great. Here's something that you guys probably didn't know. Sri Lanka has literally the funniest stuff on the sides of the road, on like boards and doors and windows. It's so hilarious to read them. Okay, so we're in Avesavella and this is the statue. Oh, frick. Okay, and so basically I'm got a wisdom tooth, not wisdom tooth, she got like a tooth out. And we're like in the town-ish. And look at the place, it's like really nice. So yeah, we're on the way to find a bus. So pretty much we were exploring the streets and then we came across this stand. The person there was so nice. Then we walked into a couple of stores, and one of the stores we walked into, this is what I saw. Very. Walking out of that store, I think I was about to get hit by that truck carrying the logs. And yeah, we walked into another herbal shop and we found the funniest stuff. And then we found some other random funny stuff, and my brother and I could not stop laughing. We finally came across the bus station and was low-key relieved that we get to go home. So the thing about getting into a bus from the bus station itself is that there's more a chance that you get to have a seat. Because other times it's almost always super crowded if you get into a bus like from the middle of the street, which you can do, by the way. Like, there's no stations, I think, which is what I saw. Like, you can just randomly stop a bus and get into it, as long as like you know where it's going. The bus was pretty empty, which we really enjoyed. Hey guys, I did. Hey guys, we just came from shopping, and now we're going to the bus. We finally got a seat, so that's really good. Yeah, everyone just like going and stuff. So yeah, see you guys at home, I guess. Goodbye. One thing that I noticed was how loud they play music in buses in Sri Lanka. It's like a literal driving concert, because out of nowhere they have these loud blasting music and songs. Kind of vibes though, so it was great. And then we saw like this food place while we were waiting for a tuk, and I thought it just looked cool how he was doing it so fast. Then we found one and it was insane because there was a lot of traffic. You see those people waiting on the sides? Those were the people waiting for patrol, and everyone was like blocking the road, which meant that the moving cars could not pass through. Another day, another fantastic trip, and this one's extra special because we went in with the homies, and by that I mean my mom's older brother, my aunt, DOG cousins, my grandma the queen, and also my family. So yeah, the whole posse was there, and we traveled to this beautiful place to visit my other uncle. And I always loved how we transitioned from the hot city into the colder, like, inner places. And this was one of those times when it was literally a breathtaking view. The roads in Sri Lanka are super like jagged and wavy, and it gave me a headache, but I was enjoying way too much to notice that I was like slightly feeling like barfing. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that you stayed so far, because if you're still listening to this video and watching, you have a special place in my heart. Everyone comment something like an orange emoji, which is so random. If you reached this point of the video, comment orange emojis so that I know like who stayed till here, because that's like insane, because I would never like pay attention to a 40 to 50 minute video. I mean, unless it's interesting. So if this interests you in any way, that means the world to me, because I put so much time and energy into this video. Like, it literally almost like gave me depression, but we powered through. That's why you're watching it right now. Anyway, that was we went on quite a tangent there, but coming back to the video, look at how amazing, tantalizing, breathtaking this view is. I am a sucker for this type of environment. Those are like trees, tea trees and all types of trees. The air was crisp, and I could not tell you through words how amazing it felt to be there in person. Then we it started to rain, right? And it was like literally the best feeling ever. Then we came to this little place. It was super cute. We had a snack. And I looked horrible as ever because, of course, again with the humidity, no makeup, like there was no nothing. But then we saw people, met some people that we knew, and then we headed back. By the way, I have not included the footage of us meeting my uncle because all of the personal, like, you know, wholesome moments I didn't get to capture because, you know why? I was living in the moment and being present. Of course, things like spending my mom's birthday. My mom's birthday happened in Sri Lanka as well, and we celebrated it. But again, I don't have any footage of that. Also, I went to visit my cousin's sister and her family. Don't have footage of that as well. Like, we did so many other things that I have not included here. This video mostly consists of the naturesque parts of the trip that we went on. Okay, so here's the most fun part. After we visited this campsite, we got to see one of the coolest bridges I have ever seen. This is the first time I've seen this kind of bridge. It was literally held up by 4 ropes. Can you see that? And it was really long from one end to the other. This bridge was swaying from side to side. Now imagine yourself on top of water that ran like this. I mean, look at that. Isn't that scary? And the height between the water and the bridge was quite a lot. Like, it was really deep. If you fell in, you probably would drown and die. And also, this bridge was so scary because the locals were running back and forth and we were absolutely terrified. That's it. That's the end of the day. Alright, so this one is not a real trip. It's just a time when my brother and I went to get our IDs made because we didn't have Sri Lankan IDs. So on the way, we just wanted to say hi to my uncle, so we visited his hospital. And outside review, it looked really nice and pretty with all the trees. It looked so calm. Also on the inside, very cute interior. It had like a little pond and stuff. After we spoke to him and said hi, by the way, that's him, the cool guy. We wanted to grab something to eat, so we went downstairs. By the way, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like record or not. Everyone was wearing military clothing because this is the army hospital. I didn't even ask him if I'm allowed to post it, but it's fine because it is a hospital. It's not just any hospital, but it's still a hospital and I think it should be fine. Plus, I'm not showing anyone's faces. But it was raining, surprise, surprise. So we got escorted out with an umbrella, which I thought was very kind. I mean, everyone was so sweet, literally so sweet. And look at my frizzy hair, so annoying. The humidity was not my hair's friend, and I'm so upset about it, but like, what can you do now? The time has passed. The moment has passed, it's whatever. But yeah, we went to the food place, had some food, and then we headed out into the streets of Colombo. Now, I don't think I've showed you guys what the actual streets look like. It's different from like the nature-y places because this is the city. So here's everything that you guys can see. It's definitely busier as well, and there are more cars and more people in the main city compared to the, you know, the mountainy trees areas. That is the Lotus Tower. It is a very famous landmark in Sri Lanka, and there was a really nice waterway, and I think you can ride like canoes or like those swan boats. By the way, this is the railway station. This train can, I think, go anywhere in the country, to most places, and we really wanted to try it. But the thing is, on that day, there were way too many people, and I'm not the best with crowded places. Like, I think it's a sensory overload type of thing that I have, so we thought we'll go next time, but next time never came, and now I have to wait until the next trip. But anyway, we stopped by to do some shopping at the store called Odell. It's a well-known store and it has a couple of cool stuff, especially these like elephant t-shirts, and I thought those were really cute. And yeah, my brother wanted some stuff, so we got him those things. Why you always in the rain though? The lighting outside was really nice, so I had to do an outfit check. So I was wearing a denim jacket with a gray dress underneath and a little shoulder bag, which I thought was chic and cute. Then we went into the streets and there was a little nice lady selling a rambutan. It was a really nice fruit, so we bought some from her. And then we walked through the street, very overwhelming and chaotic, but I mean, which city isn't? We went to collect our IDs and it was a really nice time. This place was okay and calm, and I thought this view looked cool, and that was the end of the day. I don't think I'll ever get tired of listening to the sound of rain, especially when it's paired with a view like this. I think it's one of the most cathartic experiences that you can have. And this particular trip that we went on is one of the most unique things I experienced during my time in Sri Lanka. And it all started with a leg pain that my mom had. Instead of looking towards Western medicine, we thought, why not give Ayurvedic medicine a try? That's when we discovered this little hospital in a beautiful countryside. Good Vibes was a physical place, then this would definitely be it. And there are a few reasons for that. First off, the certified doctors and the nurses were few of the most kind-hearted people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. I even wrote them a letter when I left. And this hospital was completely funded by the government. And that means none of the patients were charged a penny. And anyone can come and get their treatments done. It's crazy to think that in this economy, even through a crisis like the one that Sri Lanka was going through, they still managed to do their best. They provided meals 3 times a day, every single day, to every single patient. We were offered treatments, medicine as well, all free of charge. Not only that, they had their services and the maintenance of their place covered by the hospital itself. I'm not the one to throw a tantrum, but I remember so well not wanting to go on this Ayurvedic trip. But I'm so glad that I did, because at the end of it all, I saw a completely different side to humanity, and I thought it was just so beautiful how everyone worked so cohesively and harmoniously. I was so grateful for this entire experience. Bus rides, aka an adrenaline pumping activity which I didn't think I would enjoy as much as I did. Especially the ones where you're standing the whole time. It's like a life and death experience really, because one wrong move and one slip of a grip, you are out that door, sir. There is no recovering from that. And if you ever find yourself in Sri Lanka, definitely go try that out, and then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, that was my last ever bus ride for the entire trip, and this is us just going to a store for some last minute shopping. My mom wanted to get some things, and after we did that, we waited outside to be picked up and headed home to get ready for the airport. We're leaving right now. And just like that, it was already time to say goodbye to the 3-month spontaneous adventure that we had in the motherland. It was definitely a bittersweet experience for me, especially because I knew that, I get to go home now to the comfort of my own house and see my room again and sleep on my own bed again. But at the same time, it was kind of hard to say goodbye to all of the new friends that I made. The thought that all of these real life experiences that I had in the past 3 months would now just turn into some good memories was something a little hard for me to accept. But I want to keep everything on a positive note and say that, there's always a next time. Something that I've realized about myself is that I really enjoy nature. Not just tropical Sri Lankan nature, but nature in general. And something that I really see myself doing in the future is exploring more places. For example, I want to go to Japan and look at the cherry blossoms during that season. I don't know, maybe I'll take you guys with me when I travel the world. By the way, I also want to add that our flight from Sri Lanka to Dubai was a little bumpy, as in there was a little bit of turbulence and the flight was going whoop whoop up and down, but there was a nice flight attendant and he assured us that everything was going to be fine. I also thought that I was spending the last few minutes of my life. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of bad. It was a little bit bad, but also a lot. Anyway, I was trying to keep myself busy with, playing some games, but no one wanted to join me because everyone was probably just scared, but I was having the time of my life. And then it became morning. Alright, so I just want to come on here and say something real quick. Today is the 12th of July 2023. And that means it's been over a year since I filmed any of these things. I'm just making the voiceover now, but looking back at how long it's been, I honestly cannot believe that so much time has passed. Most importantly, if you're still watching 45 minutes into the video, you just know that you're special, okay? Like, you have no idea how crazy that makes you. I mean, what are you still doing here? Oh my god, you know what would be so funny though? If no one is watching and I'm just talking to myself. Embarrassing! But I don't care because I'm just happy to get rid of all this footage and save up space on all my devices. We saw Starbucks once again, was so happy to see it. And then we were just heading out to the waiting area, waiting for our ride to take us. Until then, I was just like killing some time looking through some books and everything. I think this is the worst I've ever felt in my entire life in terms of jet lag. I was just done. I could not function anymore. And finally, we were picked up in this limo. Just kidding. We had to go to the parking lot. By the way, I just want to say that a lot of cool stuff is coming, and this time in real time, as in I'm not gonna wait 1 year to post things. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video.